Sister wants to walk down the aisle at my wedding. We use that to our advantage, part 4. Ben and I agreed that if he dared leave me, I should say that to make him look the worst possible. As for the tears, I wish I could say it was just my stellar acting, but no. Despite everything, a part of me didn't think he'd go as far as abandon me there. That the sister thing wasn't true but an elaborate joke, I don't know. I was hurt, still am, so I was sincerely trying not to cry. What did he mean by it shouldn't be you? So that as many people as possible could hear and spread it, then when I will go and check, and ran off. We decided to do this to make her create hell with the security and stop my dad from coming back and stopping the ceremony or something. At some point my mom also left, quickly ran over and took my arm. He'd been forewarned he might need to. Watching him run desperately to me helped me smile. I walked down the aisle to whispers as people discussed what happened. Some apparently left to check too. When I reached my husband, though, all was well. He made me feel better, joking my sad face was so real I deserved an Oscar, and don't worry, he'd rake them over the coals for what they did, lol. Quickly ran over and took my arm. He'd been forewarned he might need to. Watching him run desperately to me helped me smile. I walked down the aisle to whispers as people discussed what happened. Some apparently left to check too. When I reached my husband, though, all was well. He made me feel better, joking my sad face was so real I deserved an Oscar, and don't worry, he'd rake them over the coals for what they did, lol. Before he broke character and started smiling, lol. Well, what happened is ... it worked. The following is the summed account from friends, family, the security guy, and my husband that I received afterwards. My sister did arrive in a wedding dress. The security refused to let her in. Per our agreement, he claimed she must be in the wrong venue because there was already a bride. And yes, we tipped him really well as promised, threatening him with police, claiming he never heard of him so he couldn't be working there. The security agreed to the police since he was hired by us and doing his job. My dad realized by then it'd be too late and tried to demand he let my sister in. At this point, the friend came over, started shouting and insulting my sister and asking what was going on. Basically stalling, my mom soon came and eventually other people. All my parents could do now is damage control, as everyone that learned about it was aghast they'd try and pull it and screaming and berating them. The three naturally said it wasn't a secret and threw my husband under the bus. At this point, my husband was summoned. When he came over, he put on his best look of confusion and denied. To quote him, gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss, lol. He denied having ever agreed to something so ridiculous. Needed proof, and of course, they couldn't produce any. All text exchanges they could produce were about normal wedding decisions. My sister was crying and apparently sat on the floor kicking her legs like a kid. My dad looked like he'd beat my husband, but security and other people held him back. Of course, they said they had no proof because my husband told them not to text. How convenient, huh? Then again repeated, why would he ever agree to something so fucked up? Tore them a new one about being awful parents, then said he wasn't going to let their stupid plans and lying get in the way of his wedding, and went back to me. No one believed them. The venue had cameras, but they refused to show me the recording as that was only for security purposes. Watching my parents and sister get ripped apart by any and everyone that came out to check the drama was delicious. After years and years of being accused of stuff and not believed, to watch them have a taste was one of the best wedding gifts. My mother was crying, my dad kept changing from purple to white, my sister was still on the floor crying and screaming. They kept insisting on that my husband wasn't on it. My husband agreed. Why was there no proof? Why did they want my sister to do this to my wedding? And they had no good answer to any of it. Eventually they were told to leave and had no choice but to do so. My dad apparently had to drag my sister up as she refused to leave the ground. Again, people said nothing to me all night. I guess they wanted to spare me, and not just a guest for once, but it did feel like everyone was making extra effort to be nice, positive, and excited about everything. My husband says all the expensive shit they were eating drinking certainly helps lol. We had a blast. My husband maintained the forced angry face for only a short while before breaking out in smiles again. After that, we went to the hotel to catch some sleep before going to our honeymoon, try to pay for our plane tickets, but we thought that was risky as they could try and cancel them or something, so we refused. Of course, since that whole thing, the three have tried to contact me. I've refused calls because my husband insisted on keeping a paper trail. A smart thing, because my sister did eventually message me, hinged and didn't make much sense, but the important part was that she blamed me for her humiliation. Called my husband a two-faced snake that fooled them for months. He wants to print and put that on our wall lol, and hoped but was also certain it had happened that I'd get cheated on by him. She did also suggest he was cheating on me with her, actually. Screenshot the call logs, screenshot my sister's message, screenshot some messages of my parents demanding I pick up the phone ... and sent it all to my family group chat. And sent screenshots of messages to him where they called him names and threatened him, but he kept up the "you're delusional, I never agreed to anything" shtick, and even threatened to sue them for defamation and harassment. He wrote a message and said group chat begging my family for help, and constantly. He begged family to help stop them from trying to ruin my honeymoon now that they had failed to ruin my wedding. Then finished neatly with a request that they don't share our locations to avoid my parents sending my sister over, and then claiming he had somehow agreed to pretend to fuck her in our honeymoon suite. LOL, my family assured him they'd take care of it. Silence. My husband is a little disappointed my sister didn't disobey so he could tattle again while tearing her a new asshole. We'll see if it lasts. All in all, while I obviously would prefer to have a normal, loving family at my wedding, at least for once in my life they not only failed to ruin something meaningful to me, but I got them back. Follow for more such stories.